Art and storytelling have the power to move the needle on climate change. They have the power to foster connection, reflection, and transformation, and can promote hope and engagement as we work through climate anxiety. By sharing our stories and expressing ourselves creatively, we empower not only ourselves, but others to act. Across the globe, towns and cities are grappling with increasingly common impacts of climate change, whether it's extreme weather or rising temperatures. Art and storytelling can help us process these challenges and also inspire solutions. They remind us that resilience is not only a scientific or policy-based goal, it's a human goal built through connection and understanding. Said another way, our climate crisis has a communication problem. It's art and storytelling that have the power to move the needle on climate change. Climate science has often relied on data-driven approaches. However, facts and numbers, while they are important, they don't always inspire the personal motivation we need for change. Art and storytelling can serve as a bridge between the cold, hard facts of science and the emotions that we need to feel in order to take action. Unlike numbers or facts, stories and art can trigger an emotional response and drive a permanent form of social change. Why? Because stories and art focus on what makes us human. They center us on human values, emotions, and the spirit of our expression. And when it comes to the climate crisis, it is our shared humanity that is going to save us. Sharing scientific data, while critical, hasn't effectively engaged or connected people to climate change in a way that inspires deep understanding or action. If the goal is to inspire action, then it is storytelling and an art that we need to lean into to save the planet. Stories are about felt experiences. They make the invisibility of climate change seen, felt, imagined. They create space for us to grieve, to process loss, and most importantly, to embrace hope. Let's take a few minutes to hear a brief clip from a powerful climate story we recorded last fall here at the Wild Center.
So I'm going to try to say this without crying, and I'm already emotional just thinking about what I want to say. When I think about climate change, when I think about imagining ourselves in a place, understanding the earth, I think about the importance of not just imagining yourself somewhere, but being there, going there, seeing firsthand the beauty of a world that is dying. Sorry. I've been coming to the Adirondacks from my home in Otsego County since I was 4. I studied at Paul Smith's. I even helped with a lot of development in Lake Placid, different projects. I've hiked all over the place, done long canoe trips. And I love it here. I love it. It is one of the most beautiful places I have ever visited in my life. And I want the world to see it for generations to come. I don't want it to die with me.
Humans are inherently social beings. We are wired to connect with others. Stories allow us to simulate social experiences, even when we're alone. When you heard that story, the same regions in your brain activated as if you were experiencing those events firsthand. This process is called neural mirroring. It fosters empathy and understanding. So by participating in shared narratives, we feel part of something larger, part of a community. This neural basis for social connection explains why stories can play such a crucial role in communicating the climate crisis. Just like storytelling, art has the power to move us, and not just emotionally, move us toward action. Research from the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business highlights the power of emotional engagement through imagery. Their study found that beautiful images of nature significantly increased social media clicks and even led to more donation dollars for conservation organizations. Photography captured the beauty of the natural world and fostered a deep emotional connection that moved people to act. Art that focuses on climate change can also deepen our connection to the issue by encouraging reflection. It challenges us to consider not only what humanity has done, but what each of us can do to protect the environment. Artists who channel their creativity into activism have the potential to be true agents of change. By telling visual stories about our planet, artists drive awareness and bring light to the urgent challenges we face. So how does this conviction look in practice for me as an artist and an educator? I co-direct the Adirondack Climate Project with Rose Pasquarello-Beauchamp, and I lead an initiative that explores the human experience of climate change through storytelling and art. Using a mobile audio recording studio, we traverse the Adirondack Park, inviting its inhabitants to share their personal narratives reflected in the changing climate of their surroundings. A central part of our work is an annual artist retreat, which is held right here in the Adirondack Park. This immersive, week-long experience is designed to nurture a vibrant, supportive community of artists who share a deep connection to the landscape and a passionate commitment to addressing climate change. It's a space where art becomes activism and creativity transforms into a powerful force for environmental change. The 3 pieces I want to share with you today were created as part of that artist retreat just down the road. This accordion-style book is titled Life Cycle of a Tick. It was created by Rachel Devona, a farmer and artist living in Ionia, New York. Here, Rachel uses the Adirondack Park as a backdrop to explore the tick's life cycle. Over the past 13 years, Lyme's disease cases have increased by 1.5 times statewide. But in the Adirondacks, there's been an alarming 20-fold increase. Scientists directly link this surge to a warming climate. Through her art, Rachel visually educates her audience, drawing attention to a very real consequence of climate change: its profound impact on animal species. Her piece reminds us that climate change isn't just an abstract issue, it's something that affects us in deeply personal and local ways. Art like Rachel's helps us grasp these complex realities and fosters a deeper connection to our environment. And to inspire meaningful climate action, we need more than just passive awareness. We need true, deep, active engagement. True engagement goes beyond simply absorbing information. It's a felt experience. Musician Dan Lynch captures how tapping into our emotions can foster a connection that motivates us to act. Dan is a songwriter, a performer, and an audio engineer based in Rochester, New York, with a passion for preserving New York State folk music. During his time at our artist retreat, he listened to the stories of local community members and wrote The Ballad of an Adirondacks, a song about the devastation caused by Hurricane Irene in the Adirondack Park. Through his music, Dan captures not only the physical impact of the storm, but also the emotional toll it took on this community. Let's listen to just a few moments from Dan's song, and you'll feel the emotional depth that engagement with climate stories and music can spark.
West Canada Creek just ain't the same since Irene, the hurricane. My father and me used to fish all day, but now it's not as deep. Trophy trout's gone away. Give it another week, another century. Will this all be gone? Complete catastrophe. The Halloween storm of 2019 washed out Marcy Field in Keene Valley, and my mother weeps torrential rain. Her childhood home up and floated away. 100-year flood seasonally. What can be done? Climate resiliency.
Even humor can play a vital role in inspiring climate action. Studies have shown that climate-related comedy helps people feel more optimistic and committed to taking action. Take memes, for example. They increase engagement with our online climate movements. Humor, when it's used carefully, allows us to break down the seriousness of climate change into something a little more relatable. It provides a way in, especially for people who find traditional environmental messaging a little too heavy-handed or even off-putting. Let's take a look at Missy Smith's piece, Cottages, as an example. It's tongue-in-cheek, but it addresses the serious business of climate change using humor to provoke thought and invite viewers into the conversation.
So the seasons are changing. And you'll hear from some friends of mine who live up here year-round. They used to do ice boat racing on the lake, and the lake would completely freeze. Bill's mother, back in the early 1920s and 30s, had stories of people, the lake would completely freeze, and if they wanted to move cottages across the lake, they would bring them across on the ice. That was the easiest way to relocate cottages. That now the lake freezes. It froze last winter, but very late and very briefly. I don't even know if it froze solid enough that you could dare to move a cottage across on it. It gets warmer earlier, so the seasons now are accelerating. So spring comes earlier, the water warms up sooner, the spring flowers are gone earlier. It's hard to say in terms of the foliage that last year we had a terrible moth invasion, and the mountain across the road was completely defoliated.
Art and storytelling connect us emotionally to the climate crisis in ways that data cannot. These creative expressions help us imagine, feel, and understand the changes happening in our world and inspire us to find solutions. Since I'm also an educator, I took these principles into the classroom, and in a course that I taught with Rose at the University of Rochester, to explore just how this conviction might play out in an educational setting. We designed an interdisciplinary collaborative course where students were introduced to the use of arts in designing for and expressing a vision for a sustainable future. Our research and story collection in the Adirondack Park was used to inspire projects in the course. Collaboration, design thinking, and the iterative design process was used to produce performances and artwork that respond to climate stories we've collected in the park. After the course, we surveyed the students, and we found out that 95% of our students believe that art could be an effective tool for inspiring climate action. They said things like, "To this day, this is one of my favorite classes. Saying I was in an art class about climate change opens people up to the most interesting climate conversations I've had in my adult life so far." So climate change has a communication crisis. We need creative stories, photographs, films, poetry, music to make the planetary upheaval of climate change shared and felt emotionally. Only then can we envision a viable strategy for action and social transformation. From abolition to suffrage, from the civil rights movement to AIDS discrimination, history shows us that every major social movement has been bolstered by the arts and its contributions to the larger conversation. So imagine a world where climate action is a shared priority, driven by the stories we tell and the art that we create. By engaging with climate change through the arts, we can foster empathy, inspire hope, and motivate others to act. Your contributions, whether through storytelling or art, or even by sharing beautiful images of nature on your social media feed, can help build a more connected, compassionate, and resilient world. You might have seen this QR code while you were here today. It will lead you to a site where you can share your climate story and listen to the stories of others while you're here at TEDx. Let's use the power of our shared humanity to save the planet one story at a time. Thank you.